Okay, have you ever worked really hard on something just to realize all you did was reinvent the wheel?
Do you know me?
Yeah. Yes. His answer is yes. I'm answering it for him because
Your answer is yes, too.
Our answer collectively is one big fat yes. However, what we're going to talk about today is that sometimes thinking outside the box can be a real waste of time. And we know firsthand.
Let's go. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together. All right, welcome to, what is this, episode 5 now?
Episode 5.
Episode 5 of the Let's Quit podcast. We're finding a groove. I'm really enjoying doing the show.
So. I have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah. But that being said, we would love a review.
We want to hear your feedback. So if you'd like to leave a review on your podcasting streaming platform of choice, whatever that may be, we would really appreciate it. We love hearing from you guys, especially on this podcast. We want to know what we can do better, what you guys like, so we can do more of it and good stuff like that.
Yeah. We also really appreciate our Patreon supporters. You guys are what make the show possible. So
yes.
If you want more content or you want to, just if you want us to grow and provide you more value, we need help on Patreon. That way we can go further faster. So we greatly appreciate it if you consider that. But other than that, let's get into it. Jennie, what have you been up to this week?
Oh my goodness. So,
other than getting our snazzy new table.
I know, look at this snazzy table, and I have my little candle and my little tree. For those of you that are just listening, you'll have to go back and watch the YouTube video. We added this little table to our studio, and I don't know. I like it. It's just one of those little things. So this past week, we had an early Christmas with Davis's family, and that was a lot of fun. Basically, it's hard to find a day that everybody's available around Christmas, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to do it early. That way everybody can see each other and the schedules will work out. But it was fun. We played a lot of good games. That plastic wrap game, I don't know if you guys have ever played that, where it's like you take plastic wrap, roll it in a big ball, and between every layer you are putting in like just little prizes like candy and gum, and like some will be gift cards, and sometimes you'll find like a $10 bill in there, and that's like the most important one. And
but you have to, so you're standing around the kitchen table or whatever, and everybody's standing around the table, and one person is like tearing into this plastic wrap as hard and fast as they can. And then the person next to them is like rolling 2 dice. When you roll doubles, that means that it's your turn to rip through the plastic wrap until the person next to you rolls doubles.
And this gets brutal. You want to talk about couples standing around this kitchen table, yanking, just angrily, just yanking this ball of plastic wrap out of each other's hands. Oh my gosh, this is that game. It's more brutal than Monopoly.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man.
Monopoly has ended plenty of relationships.
I don't know. This game got pretty intense. It was a lot of fun, though.
It was fun. It was just good to see family, catch up with them, and do Christmas, before the actual holidays, and just worked out that way. We're done with Christmas.
Yeah.
So, by the time this podcast comes out, everybody else will be too, but we're a couple days out from Christmas still, and we're done. So it's going to have a nice, quiet Christmas together with the pets. It'll be
great.
Right. We've had plenty of busy Christmases in the Air Force and stuff. So
yes.
It'll be nice to
working
relax.
Christmases, working Christmas Eve. So it'll be nice to just have our own little Christmas together.
Yeah.
So
we also finished the coffee table prototype this week.
Yes.
So that's what our YouTube video was about yesterday. Really excited to get that coffee table done. We think it looks amazing. We've got really good feedback on it from friends and family and people that have seen it. So either they're all lying to us, which is a definite possibility, or we actually came up with a pretty good coffee table design. So
it ended up looking exactly like we wanted it to.
Yeah.
It looked just like the plan.
Yep. So it's very, very seldom does that happen.
Yeah.
But we're excited. It looks really nice. Just trying to look forward to getting that plan finalized so we can start to sell those in Houston. So we also went to look at Christmas lights in not our neighborhood, because our neighborhood's kind of lame, but
There's still some decent lights in our neighborhood, but
yeah, we have some friends from a church group, and they invited us over for dinner and to go look at Christmas lights in their neighborhood. And I don't know, it was really cool. Every street had a different theme. So like one street's theme would be snowmen. So everybody's decorations revolved around snowmen. Some people really went out. I mean, this is more, of course I didn't grow up in a big city, but this is more Christmas decorations than I've ever seen in my life. And apparently it's not even as big as it was in the 90s and early 2000s for this neighborhood. So
yeah, they have like competitions on like who does the best like window display, who has the best decorated front door, all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And there was one that was themed like Christmas movies. And like there was The Grinch, what was it? Christmas Story, like all your classics. I mean, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman.
And there was a pretty big, from what we can understand from our friends, like there's a pretty good industry for some of the neighbors who make some of these plywood cutouts. Gosh. It's just plywood cut out in the shape of a character and then painted, but people pay several $100s for these characters.
That was one of my first thoughts driving through those Christmas lights. I was like, who makes these? Who makes these little wooden Frosty the Snowmen? Because they're in every single person's yard. It's got to be like one or two people, and they must make bank.
Oh, you saw The Grinch. So they had, between two houses across the street, they had strung, I don't know what it was, like a thing of lights or something. It had to be fairly strong and heavy, but I don't think it was a steel cable. Regardless, string of lights going from one house to another over the street, and there was a plywood cutout of the Grinch, like
stealing everybody's Christmas presents and stuff.
That was really cool to see that. And The Grinch is Jennie's favorite Christmas cartoon, so
hands down favorite Christmas movie.
So anyway, that was fun to see. But yeah, it was just a good time with some friends, and I don't know, just
Christmassy and happy.
Christmas and happy and stuff. So,
but yeah, we also this week had our Soiree Sunday, which for those of you that don't know, we have a private Facebook group called the Stud Stack, and basically it's just a community of makers that are trying to sell their work or start a business to all come together and just talk and find out that there's more people that are just like them, and we answer our questions and talk about difficulties and wins and all that good stuff. But anyways, once a month we do a like one big video call so we can kind of see each other in person and just talk. And we did one of those.
We did Zoom meetings before it was cool.
Right, exactly. But we had one of those this last week, and it was really good. I mean, we had quite a few people show up, and I feel like we really talked about some good topics and answered a lot of our questions.
Yeah, we got a lot of good progress in this meeting. It was one of the best ones we've had. So
yeah.
Anyway, quick plug for that, studstack.net if you're interested in joining that group. We have a ball in there, so we'd love to have you check it out if you'd like.
Yep.
What else do we do this week? Oh, I got a new deer rifle.
Yes, he got back from our deer hunting trip this year right before Thanksgiving, and he was all excited. He's like, I need a deer rifle now.
Yeah, that's the one gun that like we don't have, like of all the different types of guns to have, for whatever reason, I don't have a deer rifle or anything that could be considered a deer caliber rifle. So
yeah, and I have mine from growing up. But right, if you didn't like grow up deer hunting, you wouldn't have needed one. You did a lot of bird hunting, I feel like.
Well,
so
my dad also had dad had a ton of hunting guns, so I never really needed anything.
And that's true.
So and yeah, like you said, I just normally did bird hunting in North Dakota and stuff. So I just had a shotgun. But yeah, I got a 30-06. It's really exciting. It's my Christmas gift, my birthday gift, next Christmas gift, next birthday gift for quite a few years.
Anniversary gift.
Anniversary gift. I'm not going to have another gift for a while. So it's a really nice Tico rifle.
But it's good. Like you're not going to have to buy another one.
Ever.
So it'll last you. But
I'm really excited.
Speaking of spending a lot of money, we also found a really good CPA.
Oh my gosh. You're queen of segues today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we finally found a good CPA. We've been scrambling every year to find a CPA, and I don't know, I've just got some like aversion to CPAs. No offense to anybody if you're a CPA, but my sister's one. But like, I'm just scared of CPAs, and I have no reason to be. I guess I'm just scared of some little rule like catching up with me that I haven't been following. I haven't been paying a tax or something like that. And then all of a sudden I'm going to owe millions and millions of dollars. And it's just like my worst nightmare.
And they're coming to repossess your deer rifle.
No, because that's a personal asset. That's why we have an LLC. Anyway, I don't know. It's always really, I have to like hype myself up to go talk to the CPA. Not that I understand I'm crazy. So like I have full self-awareness.
Oh yeah, we've
I'm
known that for a long time.
Ridiculous about it, but thanks. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I just got to like get myself ready for, and then we go to the CPA, and every single time we sit down with the CPA, and they're like, oh, you've done a really good job. You stayed organized. You guys have QuickBooks. Like, there's no, like, we're doing everything right. We're not breaking any rule. Like, I'm not embezzling money, or I'm not laundering money for drugs or something like that. It's just, I don't know, but that's how I feel.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you don't exactly know why you're afraid of it, but you just are.
Right. But we finally, so every year we've been scrambling to find a CPA because
we'll find decent ones every year. But
we've been moving. Like, we've in the military. So that's funny and weird. So that's just an obstacle. And then we're moving around all the time. So we can't use the same CPA because we want to actually sit down and talk to him face to face. And like this last year, we just went on somebody's friend recommendation,
runs a business and has a CPA or something,
and then that guy wasn't even taking new clients. It was whoever he referred us to, and
which it worked out, but it just wasn't perfectly what we needed.
Right. And anyway, we wanted a strategic partner that we could grow with and that has dealt with helping small businesses grow. And so we found a new CPA through a friend at church, and we went and talked with them this week. And man, you know how exciting it is to tell someone your business plan. Number one, they understand it. Number two, they don't think you're crazy for having it. And number three, they tell you the next few things to look out. It's just a really cool experience of like finally getting to sit down face to face with somebody who understood what we were trying to do, saw that we had taken steps to do it, and was encouraging us to do the next couple of steps. It was just, it all came full circle. I don't know.
It was funny, like personally thought that like what we were doing was so weird. We're like, okay, so we do multimedia. Like we have like YouTube channel. We do lots of social media work. Now stick with us. Then we started a woodworking business, and we're expecting him to be like, you did what? And he's like, oh yeah, cool guys. Nice. What do you want to do from there? Like, what's next? Are you going to do another LLC? We're like, what? You understand?
Yeah, so it was just a really cool experience, and obviously we went with them like right after the meeting. It was just a really good meeting, and plus we know the guys, a couple of the guys work in there, so I don't know, it just seemed like a really good fit. So we're super excited to get a CPA and move forward with that. It was, I think the most comforting thing was the fact that the CPA told us like that he didn't think we were missing anything, because that was our last question. We're like, all right, what have we not talked about? What are we not saying that you're listening for that we haven't said yet? What's something that we're missing? What's something we haven't thought of yet? And he looked and he says, you guys are pretty much on top of it.
And we were just like, what? There's not a single thing, not one thing that you can think of that we're not doing right.
Right. So anyway, that was really comforting to hear from the tax guy. Hey, you're doing everything right. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm excited to watch you grow. So that was really helpful.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's been our week. There's a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking through. We're like, wow, what did we do this week? And I was like, man, I don't even know. I feel like we didn't even do that much. And then we started looking back through the Google Calendar, and we're like, nope, we did a lot.
It's no wonder we've been so tired the last couple of days of family and everything else. So. So the title of today's episode is, Jenny?
Quit thinking outside the box.
What does that mean? But I was always told to think outside the box.
I know. And Taco Bell even told you, think outside the bell, right?
No, the bun. Think outside the bun.
Taco Bell doesn't sell buns.
Which is why you're supposed to think outside the bun.
Oh my gosh. See, Taco Bell even tried telling me, and we hear it from everywhere. Anyways.
Did you watch that show growing up called Out of the Box? I think it was on Disney.
Yes. Out of the box. Out of the box.
Yeah, that one.
That's how the theme song went, guys.
I just remember they always had fun crafts. Because it was that kind of stuff. It was like use your imagination. I mean, that was the title of the show. So like, it was like use your imagination, always do fun crafts. And I don't know. I like the show. I didn't watch it too much, but
anyways, so the point is that I feel like we get preached at left and right to think outside the box.
Right.
That's the thing. And so like, why are we saying don't do that?
Well, it's become a cliche now.
Yes, it has. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, because we tend to do that, we'll explain why later in this podcast, believe it or not, why we are the type of people that just jump around everywhere. Our quote for today is actually a Bible verse. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. So most people are probably familiar with there is nothing new under the sun, because I feel like that's what people take from that.
That's a saying in of itself, yeah.
Right.
And really what we're trying to drive home is like, kind of like what we were saying earlier, like thinking outside the box is not always, number one, possible, because everything's been done before.
Right. There's nothing new under the sun.
Even if you, I mean, a lot of us are like woodworkers and like makers and stuff. So like we've heard time and time again, these makers say that, oh, they had an idea for a project and they built it, shot it, uploaded or edited the video, uploaded it. And then a day later or on the same day, some other maker on YouTube had the same idea for the same project with the same solution using the same tools. And they were completely independent. They didn't talk to each other or anything.
We've heard this multiple times from people.
And all across our space. And people are like, they're so afraid of stepping on somebody's toes because they're afraid of like copying somebody. It's like, no, like it is expected that multiple people will come up with the same idea.
And it's so funny to see that our space, like this maker woodworking space, is literally an innovation space. The whole purpose of everything we do is to say, hey, I made this new project. I created something new. You know, I've tried something that nobody else has done before. And still, in this space, people end up copying each other inadvertently.
So
I think that's so funny.
I guess what we're saying is that people don't think that far outside the box.
Yes.
Or maybe there's another box outside the first box.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody's still thinking boxception.
Oh my gosh. That sounds very technical.
But anyway, so the whole think outside the box thing, getting back to what we were talking about earlier, like it's a cliche now.
Yeah.
And when things become a cliche, I don't know, what I've observed in my many years of experience at a ripe age of 27 is that when something becomes a cliche, it's usually wrong about half the time. For half the time, it works and it's sound advice. But for the other half of the time, it's so nuanced or whatever. You can't just make a generalized statement like that and have it apply to every situation. Like, for example, I'm the kind of person that's terrible news. Like, that is terrible advice to me. Do not tell me to think outside the box because I spend too much time thinking outside. And let me tell you what I mean by that. As I think and talk outside the box, let me bring it down to reality. Like, I was the type of kid that like every 6 months, it was so hard on my parents. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. But like every 6 months, I would get a wild hair just to completely rearrange all the furniture in my room. It used to drive my mom insane. I don't know why. Well, I do now. But like I was wired to completely change my environment, to change my surroundings. I mean, dogs do this too. You see sometimes in dogs, there's a behavior that they want to like change their environment. So they like chew something up or move their bed to the other side of the room. Like
Bruce does that every single morning. His bed's on the other side of the living room.
But like half the population, our brains are wired to constantly create new and create chaos and to think outside the box and to do things a different way just for the sake of doing it a different way.
So much so that I feel like it creates so much chaos that you don't ever have anything that like really grounds you, or you have trouble coming back to earth and like...
Well, you don't sit into a routine. And that's what I'm getting at is like... I need to be told to stick to a routine. That's why checklists and stuff are so hard for us, is because Jennie and I, we both have this sickness of like constantly wanting to change things. I mean, this is the third time we've rearranged this little studio that we're recording in, and we haven't even used it, but for like 3 months.
And all of a sudden we're adding tables and shifting the desk around and moving the camera angles. And
it's just funny.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, Jennie and I are in the half of the population that does not need to be told to think outside the box because we live outside the box, to the point that we spend so much time, effort, and energy reinventing the wheel just so we can have our own idea or just so we can say we figured it out, when, it would be much, much quicker to accomplish the task at hand if we would just follow somebody else's advice or do something that's already been done before and optimized.
Right. And so, and I guess that's what we're saying is that if you really slow down and look around, you'll see that it's probably been done before. This idea, this new magical idea that you're trying to think of, let's be honest, especially with the internet today, it's probably been done. It's been thought of.
It's been recorded and published to the internet.
So for us, we experienced this when we were trying to figure out our product packaging. When we were figuring out like what boxes we wanted to put all of our cutting and charcuterie boards into, we're like, hey, let's think of like the coolest packaging that, nobody's seen before. And we're like, let's be honest, like there's only so much packaging that we can change and make new. Like there's so many options already out there. It's more efficient for us to just like copy what's already out there because we know it works.
Well, I remember that going a little bit differently. Like I remember us writing out all of the things that we could do with our packaging. Mm-hmm. We wanted the product to be protected, but We also wanted to give the customer an emotional experience. We also wanted to upsell other products. You know, that like our packaging for our cutting and charcuterie boards in our business right now is a sales pitch for the larger furniture items.
Right.
So we had a lot of things we wanted to accomplish, but once we wrote all that out, we realized how much work it would be. And like you said, we didn't know what was going to be best. And we couldn't split test and send 50 packages to 1,000 people and test out and see which packaging option worked best. So what you said is what we did is we just copied and pasted other luxury brands that are doing the same thing. When you buy a small makeup sample box from Chanel or something like that, that's really who we copied because it was going viral on TikTok. But like people would buy these samples and Chanel would send them a ton of nice packaging and promotional flyers and stuff like that to get them to buy again. And that was the whole reason for all the packaging. And we're trying to do the same business model. So
it makes more sense for us to just copy something that's already been done.
Exactly.
Because we're going to save ourselves so much time, and rather than thinking of this whole brand new idea and spending, a week thinking about it, when in that week we could literally be purchasing the paper or the string, the whatever, to go toward the packaging that's already proven to work.
Right. And so we didn't waste any time like split testing stuff. We just did exactly what Chanel was doing. We bought crinkle paper. We bought like wrapping paper. They had tissue paper, but we used like freezer paper because it had to be more sturdy. But like we had to do way less research to figure out what was going to work for us than if we had just started with a blank slate.
Right.
So, to us, we need to be told to copy somebody else, not to think outside the box. So, I mean, you can also apply the same things to writing a resume. I mean, like, yeah, you can sit there on, Microsoft Word or whatever and type up your own resume, but it's so much easier, or so much better to copy a template, to take somebody who got hired at the job you're applying to and just rewrite their resume.
And people even make money doing this on the internet. They'll give a course using resumes that work and teach you how to do it for yourself.
Or even people that write resumes for other people. Do you really think that they sit down and come up with a brand new resume for every person? No. They take your information, they put it in a pre-built template that they know works well, stacked up in a big pile of resumes. They know that one stands out.
And they give it back to you saying, here's your magical resume with all, different than everybody else's. It should work. Meanwhile, it's really just copy paste from others that have worked in the past. Right.
I've got another example. I'm going to get really nerdy about it.
Oh, no.
So I'm qualifying it here. Stay with me. Gosh. We watched that show on Netflix, the chess show.
Yes, The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. So
it was really, really good.
So we watched that show. It was really good on Netflix. But I have fallen into the rabbit hole of chess, which is something I swore I would never do. I'm nerdy enough. The last thing I need to be doing is watching chess videos. But it's relaxing. It helps me sleep. So
he's moved on from Bob Ross to chess.
Oh, I still watch Bob from time to time.
Bob's great.
But anyway, so I've been watching a lot of chess. And what I didn't know about chess was that, of course, we know that the game has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's, I don't know, one of the oldest games or something like that. Your first 15, 20 moves in a game have been played so many times. You are considered a bad chess player if you haven't researched all these like openings. They all get little different names and stuff like that. Of course, I didn't know any of this when I started watching, but instead of trying to just play 10,000 games of chess and learning them on your own, you will progress so much faster if you just read a book on chess openings, because everything has been done before. There's only so many moves on the board. Yeah, there's unlimited combinations at, move 20 in the game.
Yeah, that's what I always thought about chess, that there just had to be unlimited moves, and the most creative person that thought of a move that had never been done before is the best.
No,
and then I watched the show.
That's the joke, is that like all these chess openings have been done for thousands of years, and they've already like there's only so many moves and counter moves you can make in the first 10 moves of the game. So I guess all I'm trying to say is like even something as unpredictable as chess, or as option-filled and limitless as chess, still has procedures and understood knowledge about the first half of any game.
Because it's all been done before so many times.
Right. So again, thinking outside the box, I mean, sure, when you're a grandmaster or you're trying to win a championship, then it's time to think outside the box. But if you're just trying to get up to speed or build your skills or build a business or change career paths, just copy what's been done before because, and this is our third point, you're going to waste so much time by trying to do it your own unique way. Sure, if you want to flex your creativity muscles and you want to come up, I mean, we got a lot of great friends. I don't mean to say this like disparagingly, but we got a lot of great friends that try to think of new and creative ways to do stuff, and then they post YouTube videos about it. But the goal is to come up with the creative way to do it. The goal is not to get the thing done. Now, if you're trying to be in a business or you're trying to change your life direction, you're not trying to come up with a creative way to do it. You're trying to accomplish a very specific, narrowed down task. And in our opinion, like trying to do it your own creative way is really going to slow you down. So you really just need to copy and paste somebody that's come before you. And then you can make it your own. You can do it in your own way. You can adapt it. You can improve on it as you see fit over time. Right. It's like
you have to find something that's already inside of the box and make it better. You don't have to find something that's brand new, never been done before outside the box.
Right.
That's going to take so much longer. And nowadays it's like almost impossible.
Yeah, you'd be really hard pressed to find, I don't know. Creative ideas are becoming less and less available because everything is getting published to the internet now. So we're upping the game on what it means to be creative and new and special.
Right, like Elon Musk with the electric cars and trucks and everything. He didn't invent the car and then invent the fuel for the car and then invent an electric car. And
he didn't even invent an electric car.
Exactly. They had been done before. But look he's got the largest electric car company.
Right.
So he just took an idea, made it way better. He did not start from the very beginning.
He didn't even invent the battery. He just really optimized it and improved it once he got up to speed with what battery technology is.
And people, I mean, say he's one of the greatest, thinkers of today, one of the most creative people. And it's like, he took an idea that was already in existence.
Right. Even Jeff Bezos, however you say it.
Bezos.
Whatever.
Amazon guy.
Even Amazon guy. Like, he didn't invent online shopping. He didn't invent the store. He didn't invent the credit card. He just put stuff on the internet to sell and scaled it really well. So you do not need to come up with your own creative idea. You just have to execute it better than everybody else. So anyway, that's enough theory. That's enough outside the box.
Yes, let's get inside the box with some action steps. Will you join us inside of this box? Come join us inside the box. So first action step. Creepy. In a non-creepy way. Go ahead with our first action step.
First action step. R&D. What does R&D stand for?
R&D. Well, the actual standing is research and development.
No, it is not.
Mm-hmm. What's your special definition?
So it's not my special definition. I stole this from one of the guys in the stud
stack.
Oh,
really? Did you steal the idea and now you're going to improve upon it?
So R&D, we were in the stud stack hanging out, and I won't share his name or the name of the company he was talking about, but he knew, one of the guys in the stud stack knew somebody at a really big company. You have heard of this company. And he was talking with one of the lead executives or something like that, and he says, oh, like, we got to talk to our R&D department about that. And he's like, oh, research and development. He says, no, R&D stands for Ripoff and Duplicate.
Yes.
So these giant Fortune 500 companies, that's what they're doing, is they're just ripping off and duplicating. And so that's step number one, rip off and duplicate. Find somebody who has solved your problem before. If you were trying to ship your product across the country, you don't need to come up with your own Pony Express. You can just call UPS or you can call another Etsy business and see how they do their shipping. We're going to do this. As soon as we get ready to ship our coffee tables and kitchen tables across the country, you better believe we're going to call our woodworking business friends and say,
who
yo,
already flat ship.
How do you do this? Teach me your ways. I will pay you a consultant fee or something like that.
Yep.
Like,
good Lord, I'm not going to figure that out all on my own.
I do not want to go fight with the guy at the UPS store for 2 hours when I can just call a woodworker friend that says, hey, go here and ask for this.
Yep. Use this label, use this box, and go.
Right. So again, number one, find somebody that has already done what you were trying to do or some flavor of that and develop and just do that thing. If you can't find a pre-built solution, start with something very similar and modify it. Right. So like, I
feel like we actually just did this with our charcuterie board template. We found something moderately similar, and we just made it a little bit better. We put some different better for us anyways.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the YouTube video, we're trying to come up with a repeatable way to make a very particular cut on our charcuterie boards to the the handle, the part that you hold. And we needed a way to do boards quickly and easily. We knew that we wanted to use a template, which is something used in woodworking all over the place. You make a really nice version out of like plywood or something, and then there's a special kind of tool that will cut out that shape repeatedly, and you just keep
It's kind of like a stencil.
Yeah, it's like there you go. It's like a stencil
for woodworking.
Perfect explanation. So we wanted to use this stencil for woodworking, but generally they're either glued or taped on to the workpiece. And glue and tape was going to be way too...
We don't want to mess with glue and tape.
Way too slow for us. So we wanted a way to like clamp it down. So we developed this way to like clamp the workpiece down onto the stencil instead of gluing it or taping it. So we made a little tweak to a pre-built solution.
So we started out...
make it work for us.
Yeah, we started out a little frustrated that like immediately we couldn't find exactly what we were looking for on YouTube or on the internet. So we're like, find the next best thing and we'll tweak it a bit.
Right. So which is the perfect segue into the next action step. Learn how to research effectively. We hear, oh my gosh, you don't know how many people abuse our Instagram DMs of asking us questions that Google would give them way better answers to.
And faster.
Right, just learn.
You're waiting for a day for us to reply versus Google, which is instant.
I don't know the demographic of people that needs to hear this, but if you're one of these people, do not bonk on the head of somebody else. Do not bother somebody else to ask a question that you can just Google. Please do your own homework before you start bothering the teacher for help.
And it's not even, I feel like it's not even because the teacher is like sick of hearing you or doesn't want to answer your question. The teacher knows that if you go and do the research yourself, you're going to end up learning way more than just the answer to that question that you came with. That's why teachers would always do the, I don't know, did you look it up? I don't know, did you read the
chapter? Because guess what? Step number 1 in the chapter
is... And as a kid, you're like, dang it, like, no, I didn't, but you can give me the answer so much quicker.
As the kid, and this is how I see this playing out, as the kid, you want to play victim. You want the teacher to do it for you because you don't want to do the work, right? We're all naturally lazy, and so you want to bother the teacher to do it because then she'll just do it for you instead of actually making you do the learning part. So I think that this is kind of what's going on here. Sorry if you're one of these people, but like the people that reach out to us asking for us to give them the shortcut, they don't want to do the work themselves, which is, anyway, this is... Lots of dots are being connected right now because that's... Anyway, yeah.
He's going to think about this the rest of the day now. He's going to make some new
I finally made sense of all the people that ask us like really weird, like Googleable questions. Googleable, is that a word? Googleable?
I'm sure it is nowadays.
It is now. I know Google doesn't want the word Google to be a verb.
Why?
Because of trademarks and stuff. I was doing some research, believe it or not, on trademarks, and like when you use a word as a verb, you have to enforce it. If another company uses the word Google as a verb, then Google has to defend it. So every time,
that's a lot of work.
So if IBM is telling their employees like formally to Google something or their clients to Google something, Google then owns that word and they have to sue IBM for using it.
Yeah, that's frustrating. That's expensive. That's a lot of lawsuits.
Yeah, anyway.
Way more employees.
We're way down a rabbit hole that we didn't intend to get into.
Learn how to research.
Learn how to research effectively. Learn how to use keywords. Wikipedia is a gold mine of information. I don't care what your English teacher said in high school. Wikipedia is amazing because you go down to the bottom and you get the source documents for all these things. So you can,
that's true.
You can go down and you can read the news article of where they pulled that information from, and you can start to piece together the story of how this one company or this one person solved this problem before you. And you can just rip off and duplicate right from there. So learn how to research effectively. Our next action step, we got a lot today. We got a lot of action steps today.
Yeah, we got 4 today.
The next one, teach yourself that routine is more powerful than short sprints. So let's just stay in the example of like working out. Are you going to grow more muscle or are you going to get stronger if you go to the gym and kill yourself once a week? Or are you going to grow more muscle and be stronger if you go to the gym and work out for 30 minutes every single day. Different
Second
muscle
one,
groups.
definitely.
Obviously, the second one. If you don't know the answer to that, I suggest you try working out sometime.
Google it.
Google it. The chip away game, I guess, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the previous podcast. Like sometimes just laying a brick is what you need to focus on, and the wall will build itself. You start with something that's sloppy. If you don't have the perfect solution to what you're trying to solve, even that is better than no solution at all.
Yeah, what is it that Tom Billy says that he'd rather be running in the wrong direction than not moving, because at least you're learning something if
Right.
you're running in the wrong
So if you're
direction. You've learned that you're running the wrong direction.
If you're stumped, if you're in a creative like slump and you can't come up with a new idea, then just do something that you already know. You don't need to come up with a new idea. You can just do something that you're routinely used to and then improve on it 10% the next time you try to do it. Again, the iterative process is, we're just trying to like come full circle with the last few podcasts. Like
iterative process, I feel like, applies to way more things in life than you realize it does. Like the chip away game is so important in like almost every aspect of life.
Right, because sometimes there just isn't a new solution. It just leads into to our last sort of action step. I won't ding the bell again because it kind of goes with the last one. But like sometimes there's not a new solution, or sometimes you're only going to get the new solution if you're doing it the old way.
And to relate this back to working out, which is what we were talking about earlier, like, for example, there's no secret push-up technique to do like 100 push-ups in a minute. You just have to do push-ups. You have to do like 70 push-ups in a day, or you have to do like 20 push-ups every day over and over and over to build up those muscles so that one day you can do 100 push-ups in a minute.
Or like a golf swing. Like it is extremely difficult to explain the golf swing. You just have to, like, from what I've heard, coaches and everything, you just have to get people to swing the club and then just start tweaking things. You can't really, like, teach someone from the beginning to the end of how to do a golf swing because it's so complex. And a lot of times, if you're trying to do anything significant in life, it's going to be complex. You're going to have to start with somewhere. You have to start somewhere and slowly improve over time. And then your breakthrough revelations of like, oh, I just need to do it this way. Or I need to hold the club with, more pressure on my right index finger. Like all these little tweaks and stuff that are going to happen on their own as you try to improve something that already exists.
So don't feel bad, I feel like, because you didn't like come out with the most perfect golf swing right off the bat.
Don't feel bad for starting in the box, because you can't think outside the box until you're familiar with what's in the box.
Right.
And the lesson that Jennie and I need to learn, or have learned and continue to reinforce, is that sometimes you already have the answer in your box.
Reinforce is such a nice word to use for that.
As I'm punching the table because I'm trying to like beat myself into understanding this concept. Sometimes you already have a solution. You do not need to flip the tables over and create a crazy new idea. Sometimes boring is best. That's it.
So that's our advice. That is our action steps of how to and why.
I don't have anything else to say.
To think inside the box.
Well, I have more to say, but
just not on this podcast. save the people's ears. We've been talking for a long time.
Well, that just means I get to talk to you about it later.
Oh, good Lord. Yes.
All right. You want to tease next week's title?
Yes. So next week, we are going to be talking about how to quit hoping that people will understand. Like, stop hoping that people will just understand everything that you put out there into the world. Yep.
Interesting. I'm intrigued.
Yep. And on that note, and confusion, we'll see you on the next one.